Welcome to the Audiobook Chamber, where ideas speak and insight transforms. Here, we believe that true wealth begins in the mind, and every great book opens a doorway to that inner abundance. In this session, we explore The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, a timeless reflection on how our emotions, choices, and perceptions shape our financial lives far more than numbers ever could. This isn't just a summary. It's an experience, a mindful journey through stories, lessons, and reflections that reveal why mastering money is really about mastering ourselves. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and step with us into the psychology of money, presented by the Audiobook Chamber, where true wealth begins in the mind. Housel begins with a timeless truth. Financial success has little to do with intelligence or technical knowledge, and everything to do with behavior. He contrasts two striking examples. Ronald Read, a humble janitor who quietly built an $8 million fortune through patience and discipline, and a highly educated fund manager who lost his wealth through impulsive decisions. Read lived modestly, avoided unnecessary risks, and let compounding quietly multiply his savings over decades. His success wasn't about brilliance, but temperament, the ability to stay calm, consistent, and committed when others chased quick gains. The fund manager, despite his intellect, was undone by emotion, greed, and overconfidence. Housel's lesson is clear: knowledge helps, but behavior decides outcomes. True financial mastery comes from emotional control, the discipline to delay gratification, the courage to stay invested during uncertainty, and the humility to avoid chasing extremes. In the end, success isn't about outsmarting the market. It's about mastering yourself, your patience, your impulses, and your perspective on enough. Life, Housel reminds us, is a delicate dance between chance and choice. While people love to credit success to skill and blame failure on poor decisions, luck and risk quietly shape far more than we admit. Bill Gates' story is a famous example. His high school happened to have one of the only computers accessible to students in the 1970s, a stroke of luck that changed history. Similarly, Ronald Read's longevity gave compounding decades to work its magic. Yet, countless others with equal effort and discipline faced bad breaks, accidents, market crashes, or untimely crises that erased years of progress. Housel's point is humbling. We are never fully in control. Recognizing the invisible hand of luck fosters gratitude, while respecting risk builds prudence. He urges readers to design financial lives resilient to randomness, to plan conservatively, expect setbacks, and stay humble in victory. Overconfidence is fragile. Humility, on the other hand, endures. By embracing uncertainty, we replace arrogance with awareness and fear with resilience, the true mindset of long-term success. One of Housel's most powerful lessons centers on the quiet magic of compounding, the invisible engine behind lasting wealth. True fortune isn't born from brilliance or timing. It grows slowly, almost imperceptibly, through patience and discipline. Warren Buffett's wealth, for instance, didn't explode overnight, but accumulated steadily for decades, showing how time magnifies small, consistent actions. Housel expands this idea beyond money. Compounding also governs knowledge, habits, and relationships. A young investor setting aside a few dollars a month might see little change at first, yet decades later, those modest efforts transform into something extraordinary. The same law applies to personal growth. Each act of discipline builds momentum. Compounding rewards those who stay the course and punishes the impulsive who interrupt its rhythm. Housel's message is simple but profound. Real wealth belongs to those who respect time, remain consistent, and trust in slow progress. In money and in life, patience is the ultimate multiplier. Knowing when enough is enough stands as one of Housel's deepest and most countercultural truths. In a world obsessed with status and comparison, People often chase endlessly: larger salaries, fancier homes, higher investment returns, simply to match or outshine others. Housel recounts stories of lottery winners who lost everything, entrepreneurs who gambled away fortunes for one last victory, and investors who risked their financial security chasing that elusive more. Their downfall wasn't ignorance, but an inability to recognize satisfaction. True wealth, Housel reminds us, is not measured by visible abundance, but by invisible peace, the freedom to live without constant anxiety, to make decisions from stability rather than scarcity. A modest saver who understands contentment can live with greater joy and autonomy than a billionaire enslaved by risk and comparison. Knowing when to stop, when to say this is enough, becomes an act of power and wisdom. It protects happiness, preserves freedom, and aligns ambition with values. Ultimately, Housel challenges us to redefine success, not as endless accumulation, but as a life balanced between purpose, prudence, and peace. Everyone's financial journey is profoundly personal, a reflection of upbringing, culture, and experience rather than pure logic or income. Housel emphasizes that two people earning the same salary may handle money in completely different ways, shaped by how they were raised, what they've endured, and what they fear. A child of scarcity might hoard cash out of anxiety, while someone raised in abundance may take bold risks without hesitation. Comparing yourself to others, Housel warns, is like comparing stories written in different languages. It breeds insecurity, envy, and reckless imitation. He shares examples of families burdened by generational trauma around money, repeating cycles of debt or fear, and contrasts them with those who built stability through early education and consistent habits. The message is simple yet transformative. Know who you are. Recognize your emotional triggers, your biases, and your goals. Design a financial strategy that fits your temperament, not someone else's highlight reel. When you stop competing with others and start aligning your financial life with your values and reality, you find peace, satisfaction, and true long-term resilience. Housel emphasizes that saving is far more than a financial tactic. It's a psychological and emotional safety net that shields you from life's inevitable volatility. Unlike complex investment schemes or market timing, simple, consistent saving provides something far more valuable: freedom and control. He recounts stories of ordinary people with modest incomes who, through quiet discipline, built financial resilience strong enough to weather job losses, medical bills, or market crashes without panic. Savings, Housel explains, by time, the ability to pause, pivot, or walk away when circumstances demand it. It's not about hoarding wealth, but about buying options, the choice to take a break, start a business, or live life without constant anxiety. Every dollar saved is a vote for independence, a buffer against bad luck, and a foundation for peace of mind. Beyond its financial impact, saving cultivates virtues, patience, humility, and foresight, reminding us that true wealth lies in flexibility, not extravagance. Even the most carefully crafted plans can unravel when reality intervenes. Housel underscores the importance of building a margin of safety, a deliberate cushion that protects against bad luck, misjudgment, and the unpredictability of life. Markets crash, economies shift, and personal circumstances change overnight. Those who survive and thrive are not the ones who predict perfectly, but those who prepare wisely. He points to entrepreneurs and investors who endured financial storms by keeping cash reserves, managing debt conservatively, and planning for setbacks before they arrived. Leaving room for error isn't pessimism, it's realism, an acknowledgement that the future rarely unfolds as expected. This principle applies far beyond finance. In careers, relationships, and personal growth, flexibility and humility are safeguards against overconfidence. Housel's lesson is clear. Resilience is built not through perfection, but through preparedness. and true stability comes from expecting the unexpected. The final insight in the psychology of money challenges our entire perception of what it means to be rich. Housel argues that true wealth is what you don't see, not the flashy car, designer watch, or luxury home, but the quiet power of freedom, security, and time. Real wealth is the ability to wake up and decide how to spend your day, to say no to things that don't align with your values, and to live without the constant pressure of financial strain. He contrasts those who appear wealthy but live burdened by debt and status anxiety with those who live modestly yet have full control over their choices. Wealth, in its truest form, is about autonomy, the freedom to live on your own terms. Housel encourages a shift in mindset. Instead of spending to signal success, focus on saving to secure peace of mind. When money becomes a tool for independence rather than display, it serves life rather than rules it. As the lessons converge, Housel's philosophy becomes clear. Wealth is psychological before it is practical. Money is a reflection of human nature, a tool that amplifies behavior. Those who respect its power, understand its limits, and master their emotions are the ones who thrive. The enduring truth of the psychology of money is that financial mastery is less about brilliance and more about behavior, patience, humility, and discipline. Compounding rewards the calm. Risk humbles the proud. Gratitude steadies the anxious. True wealth lies not in how much you have, but in how you think. When you understand enough, save with purpose, and allow time to work for you, you free yourself from the endless cycle of want. In the end, the richest person is not the one with the most money, but the one who needs the least. You've been listening to The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, a journey into the human side of wealth and behavior. Here at the Audiobook Chamber, we believe that true wealth begins in the mind, and Housel's insights remind us that money is ultimately about control, choices, and understanding ourselves. If this exploration inspired you, continue your journey with our playlists, from the Mindset Chamber and Wealth Chamber to the Discovery, Chronicles, and Entrepreneur Chambers. Until next time, remember, true wealth begins not in your wallet, but in your mind.